Hi, welcome back. In this video, I will teach you how to convert direct sentences to indirect sentences. Before getting into the lesson, I want to ask you, what is direct and indirect speech? If I say I am a teacher, I put these words in inverted comma because these are my actual words. So, when use the actual words of a speaker, we put them in inverted commas. This is called direct speech. But if you report my words, you will say, she said that she was a teacher. Here, you didn't use inverted comma. So, when we report what the speaker said without quoting his exact words, we do not use inverted comma. This is called indirect speech. It's also called reported speech because as a news reporter, we are reporting that other person's words. Now, I want you to notice the differences between the direct and indirect sentences. When we write direct speech, we always use quotation marks around the original words. This is to show that we are repeating the exact words of the speaker without any change. But in indirect speech, we don't use quotation marks. The second point is that the use of the word that. This is used in indirect speech, but it is never used in direct speech. In informal situation, we can often leave it out in reported speech like this. I said I'm a teacher. Informally, that's okay. But in formal situation, don't leave out that. These are the two basic differences. Now, let's talk about how convert a sentence from direct to indirect speech. There are 3 steps for doing this. First one, change the pronouns. Second one, backshift the tense. Third one, change the time and place expressions. See the example. Ron said, I have exam today. The answer is, Ron said that he had exam that day. In the example, you can see the pronoun I changes to he in the reported sentence. He refers to Ron. This is the first step. Next, the verb has changed from have to had. When Ron spoke, his words were in the present tense. But when we report those words, we change them in the past tense. This is called backshifting. I mean, have becomes had. Okay, that is the backshifting of the tense. And we also see that the word today, which is the time expression, that has become that day. These are the 3 changes that we make when we convert a sentence from direct to indirect speech. Now the sentence is, Ron said that he had exam that day. Let's now do a practice. See the first sentence. Ram said, I like ice cream. How do you change this sentence? Ram said, then use the word that. The pronoun I will become he. He refers to Ram. That is the step number 1. Change the pronoun. And what about the verb like? It is in the present simple form. We change this into past simple, liked. This is the step number 2. Backshift the tense. There are no time and place expressions here. So we don't need this step number 3. So the answer is Ram said that he liked ice cream. Now let's move on to the second sentence. He said, I'm writing a letter to my friend. How would you change this? He said that he was writing a letter to his friend. I changes to he, my changes to his. Present continuous tense changes to past continuous tense. So the answer is he said that he was writing a letter to his friend. See the third sentence. He said with great excitement, I bought a new house yesterday. How would you change this? He said with great excitement. That is a reporting clause. When we change a sentence into indirect speech, we almost always put the reporting clause at the beginning. It's very common. So begin with he said with great excitement that. Then change the pronoun I to he. Then backshift the tense bought. Bought is simple past. It changes to past perfect had bought. See the sentence? He said with great excitement that he had bought a new house. Yesterday has become the previous day or the day before. That is the time expression. How would you change this sentence? He said, I didn't write my exam last week. Begin with he said that. He said that. I changes to he. Didn't write as past simple negative, that changes to past perfect negative, hadn't written. And last week becomes the week before or the previous week. So in this sentence, we change the pronoun I to he and my to his, backshift the tense, past simple didn't write to past perfect hadn't written, and finally change the time expression last week to the previous week or the week before. Thus the sentence has become he said that he hadn't written his exam the previous week or the week before. Is that clear? See the next sentence. It's a little bit tricky. She told her mother, I was doing my science project and the power went out. The answer would be, she told her mother that she had been doing her science project and the power had gone out. Was going is a past continuous tense. It gets backshifted to a past perfect continuous tense, had been doing. And the power went out is past simple tense and it is backshifted to past perfect tense, power had gone out. So the sentence is, she told her mother that she had been doing her science project and the power had gone out. See the next one. He said, I have seen the Taj Mahal 3 times already. Answer. He said that he had seen the Taj Mahal 3 times already. Have seen is present perfect tense. It becomes had seen, past perfect tense. It means that if we have a present perfect tense, it changes to past perfect tense when you backshift. See the next sentence. They said, we have been working very hard. They said that we becomes they. They have been becomes had been. And finally, they said that they had been working very hard. See the next one. Rahul said, the movie had started when I arrived. Rahul said that the movie had started when he arrived. There is no change in the tense because had started as past perfect tense. There is no change for past perfect tense in indirect speech. So the sentence would be, Rahul said that the movie had started when he arrived. See the next one. She said, I had been living in London since my childhood. The answer is, she said that she had been living in London since her childhood. In this sentence, the tense has not changed. It was in the past perfect continuous tense. So, both past perfect and past perfect continuous tense won't be changed. There is no change for them in the indirect speech. Okay? From these sentences, we could understand that first person pronoun I, we, me, mine, us, ours normally change to the third person he, she, they, his, her, their, the, him, her, them. Second person pronoun you and yours change according to the person of the object of the reporting verb. Then tenses, present simple tense to past simple, present continuous to past continuous, present perfect to past perfect, present perfect continuous to past perfect continuous, past simple to past perfect, past continuous to past perfect continuous, past perfect to past perfect only, past perfect continuous to past perfect continuous. Then what about time and place expressions? This changes to that, these changes to those, here changes to there, tomorrow to the following day or the next day, next month, the following month or the next month, today, that day, tonight, that night, this afternoon, that afternoon, yesterday, the day before or the previous day, last year, the year before or the previous year, finally last night, the night before or the previous night. These are the changes occur in the indirect speech when we convert direct sentence to indirect sentence. Okay, is that clear? Let's see the next sentence. I'll give your English notebook tomorrow, he promised her. The answer, he promised her that he would give her English notebook the next day or the following day. Here we see that the modal verb will has become would. Its past form. And tomorrow has been changed to the next day or the following day. Both means the same. So the answer is he promised her that he would give her English notebook the next day or the following day. Now with the verb promise, you can also make the sentence like this. He promised to give my English notebook the next day or the following day. This is the special use of the verb promise using to plus an infinitive verb. That's also correct. Now let's see the next sentence. I would like to learn French, she told her teacher. Here in this sentence, the modal verb would is used. This is already a past form and there is no way to backshift it. There is no past perfect for modal verbs. So we say she told her teacher that she would like to learn French. Alright. See the next sentence. The teacher said, my students and I are going for a study tour today. This one is a little bit tricky. We start with the teacher said that and then we have my students and I. This becomes she and her students. Only with I, we put the other person first. My students and I, my mother and I, Rahul and I, etc. But with other pronouns, we put the pronoun first. She and her students, he and his friends, etc. Here, she and her students are going. Are going becomes were going. If it is am going or is going, we should change this to was going. Here it is are, so it changes to were. Today becomes that day. So the answer is the teacher said that she and her students were going for a study tour that day. See the next one. I can speak English, Varun said. The indirect sentences, Varun said that he could speak English. The can becomes could. See the next one. Sonia said, we may buy a new car this week. The answer, Sonia said that they might buy a new car that week. May becomes might. We become they. And finally, this week has become that week. So the answer is, Sonia said that they might buy a new car that week. See the next one. He told his son, you must obey your teachers. The answer is, he told his son that he must obey or had to obey his teachers. Must can either stay the same or we can use had to. But if you have mustn't in the sentence, you should say mustn't. It is never changed. For example, his teacher said, you mustn't scream in class. The answer is, his teacher said that I mustn't scream in class. Mustn't is mustn't. Alright, here is another sentence. The police officer said, you should park your car here. Answer, the police officer said that I should park my car there. Here changes to there. Should is already a past tense. So it is not changed. This is for all the past tense models. We serve would before. Similarly, we don't backshift could or might. We leave them as they are. Remember, the word tell must take an indirect object, me, him, her, them, or any name, etc. For example, he told me that, he told her that, she told them that, etc. But when we use said, we don't have to say he said me or he said to me, he said to her, etc. Instead, use said that. Hope you understood. Let's now do a quiz. Read the questions well and change the following sentences into indirect sentences. Stop your video. Try to do it. Hope all of you have got all answers. Congratulations. Hope you enjoyed today's class. Thank you. See you again.